Welcome. In this session, we will look at how to initiate and complete a product registration application form. I'll just log into my account. From the home page, I've got a number of options to select from the home page menu. The option I'm interested in today is Start New Product Registration. I simply left mouse click on that button and it will open a product registration initiation page. On this page, I need to fill in 3 pieces of information. The first one is to select the country in which I want to submit my registration application. I just select from the drop-down list. I'm going to select Ghana. Secondly, I need to select the product type. At present, there are 2 options, air conditioners or refrigerators and freezers. In this instance, I'm going to initiate an air conditioner registration. Finally, I need to select the application standard. That is the standard required by the Ghanan regulator to which I must register my air conditioner. Generally, there will only be one in the drop-down box and you'll simply select that application standard. Now all I do is left click on the Create button and I will create a new application form to be lodged with the Ghanan regulator for an air conditioner. Okay, so the application form has now been delivered to my screen and I'll just note a few points. So firstly, at the top of the application form, it's got some useful information. It tells me currently I'm editing the application. It's given my application a record number, a record ID, and that's useful if I need to talk to a regulator. I can quote that record ID number if I'm having an issue. It tells me that it's currently a draft application, that's its status. It's telling me that the appliance type I'm registering is an air conditioner and the regulator I'm submitting to is Ghana. Down the left-hand side of the screen is a map of the various pages in the application form. I'm on the first page, applicant details. That's followed by product details, test details, performance claims, file uploads, and finally fees and declaration, where I submit my application. So in total, there's 6 pages to be completed. In this case, I've pre-populated a lot of the fields to save us some time, but in fact, it doesn't take very long to complete an application, providing you have all of the required information available. So on this first page, applicant details, there's all the details of the company, which is pre-loaded into these fields based on my account details. So my account has all of these details about my company name and so forth. They're preloaded, but you can edit them, or in this case, for instance, I can note that I'm a manufacturer. I'll just skip through those. They're all fairly straightforward. Submitting officer details, so the particular person who's submitting the application in the organisation, just simply fill in those details. My physical address and postal address. And by clicking on this button here, it copies my physical address into my postal address fields, which saves me some time. That's fairly straightforward. I just fill in all of those details about who I am, basically. And then at the bottom of the page, I click on Next to go to the next page. Or if I want to pause my application and come back to it later, save and exit. In this case, I'll go next. The second page, Second page is product details. Says it at the top here. Shows me highlighted where I am in the process. I'm in the second section. Still got all the information across the top here. Okay, product details, brand name. All right, I've pre-loaded a brand name AAA, but in fact, if I want, I can select a brand name from a drop-down list of all brand names that are currently in the system. So I may change my mind and say, actually, no, this is brand ABC, and just select it from the list. If, on the other hand, the brand name is a new brand name, it doesn't appear on the list, I can create a new brand name by clicking on this word here, create new brand name. That will bring up a little dialog box where I fill in the brand name and I fill in the brand website where you can get further information about the particular brand. I'm not going to do that in this case. I'm just going to proceed on with my brand name ABC. Simply fill in the following details: family name, if there's a family name, if it's a group of products under one family. In this case, I've called it the Arctic series or Arctic brand. Other pieces of information. Some pieces of information are required, some are not. Those that are required have a little red asterisk. Those that are not do not have a red asterisk. So I don't have to fill in some fields if I don't want to. Continuing on. Now, this is an air conditioner. It asks me what type of operation mode it has. Is it cooling only or reverse cycle? I've selected cooling only. It's a split system. It's asking me in this field whether it's air cooled or water cooled. In this case, it's air cooled. Rated input power, rated output capacity, rated all basic information about the product. Does the air conditioner have variable output capacity, such as an inverter? Simply complete these fields, move on to the next section. Next section, test details. Which laboratory performed the testing? Again, there is a pick list of laboratories that are in the system already. You can simply select from that pick list or, again, create a new laboratory. In this case, there's a few more details to fill in, including such things as the laboratory's accreditation number and its address, but basically the same. Fill in that form, create a new laboratory, and that will be loaded in as the laboratory you're using for this application. In this case, I'll just happy with the one I've got. It's preloaded the accreditation number into the following field, and you see how this following field is grey in colour, and when I put the cursor over it, it shows a red circle with a line through it. That means that the information is already been loaded for you. You don't have to do anything, and in fact, you can't change that information. Further questions about the test standard used, test report numbers, test report dates, test results further down. Simply fill in the values. Again, there's some calculated values. Here, I put in the test input power of 2 kilowatts, capacity of 8. But if I were to say that the capacity was 9, you'll see that in this field below, it will then change from 4 to 4.5. Okay, and back again. The system also checks as you're putting in data or moving to the next page whether the information you have input is complete, and also is it compliant with the rules and regulations in the jurisdiction, the country into which you are registering your product. In this case, the standby power consumption is shown as 0.5 watts. If, however, I selected, say, 2 watts of power consumption, that's outside the permitted level in Ghana for an air conditioner. And when I try and move to the next field or even the next page, an error is issued telling me that the product does not meet the performance requirements and cannot be registered. I'll just change that back again and it disappears. Again, I changed the value to a very high number. It will not accept it. Bottom of the page, bottom of most pages, there's also a comment box where you can add extra information that you think may be important to the regulator in relation to the inputs you've made on that page. In this case, I have nothing further to add, so I'll just hit the next button. This page covers performance claims. My claimed EER value is 4. Again, some grey fields. These are calculated energy efficiency star ratings and annual energy consumption based on my test results values in the previous section. They're already calculated for me. What is the noise rating for this product? What is the noise rating for this product? External and internal options. Now, if I were to put in a value that was obviously too high, you'll see that I haven't got an error this time because it's not breaking any rules in terms of the Ghanaian regulator's requirements. But it is telling me that this value is outside the expected range. Please check, including the units. So I put in 200 decibels, and it rightly says that that's likely to be too high, and I should reconsider that value. I can ignore a warning and proceed. However, it's worthwhile checking if you do get a warning. I'll change it back to just 50. Continuing on through this section, refrigerant types, again, drop-down lists, and depending on which type I choose, it will automatically fill in the following fields in relation to global warming potential and ozone deleting potential. Okay, next page. This page allows me to upload some documents as required by the regulator. Again, documents that must be uploaded have a little red asterisk. To upload a document, in this case a test report, I simply either drag and drop the report into this area here, or I click on this area. It opens a dialog box. I find the report in my file manager and simply click on the test report and open, or alternatively I can just double click. When I double click or open, it loads the test report into the application form such that the regulator can view that test report. If I've uploaded the wrong report, I can click on a delete button, will delete the report, and I can upload an alternative report. Okay, I have uploaded other documents that are required in this section already, so I can proceed to the next section, which is the final section. This final section, I've got a final chance to make a comment at the top. There's a declaration, mainly saying that I'm authorised to make this application. If I'm happy with that, I click the yes, the tick box down here, say that I agree with this declaration, and finally submit the application. If I want to go back in the application to change something, I can simply click on any of these page names. It'll take me back to that page to get To move forward, however, I must click on the next page button at the bottom of the page. So for instance, I can go back to the previous page. To move on back to the final page, as you can see, I can't click there. I must go to the bottom of the page and click next. Okay, completed my application. Happy with everything. I now just hit the submit button. It submits the application to the regulator, who gets an email telling them that an application has been submitted, and then it opens a page showing all my applications, a list of my applications. This is my application here that I just submitted, highlighted in blue. It tells me the record ID, tells me that it's been submitted, that's the status. It tells me it's an air conditioner, brand name ABC, model 123, lodged with Ghana. Once it's approved by the Ghanan regulator, I'll have an approval date and a product registration number will also show. Okay, that's how to initiate and complete a product registration.